If you're an agent looking for growth, clarity, and focus, you need to hear this call. Today, I am interviewing Maranda Tyus. She's located and based in Arizona. And also, not only that, she is a mom, she is a life coach, she's a real estate coach, and she's breaking down how it is important to create the base for your business. So, if you're looking to build confidence, to have a better understanding how you're going to lead your clients or lead others, she's definitely the person that you want to hear to. She brings her heart and her passion into this conversation. And if you're new here, make sure you are subscribing to the page. These calls are happening every single week where I get to interview amazing realtors and coaches, bringing, nuggets for you to use and apply in your business today. Make sure to check Top Agent Wolfpack to schedule a call with me if you have any questions in how to bring your business to the next level, or if you just need a little guidance. We are here for you. Hey, everybody. As I share on my introduction, I am so excited for having this guest speaker today. Not only is she a powerhouse and a leader, but also she's a dear friend and it just takes things to a whole nother level. Hey, Miranda, thank you so much for being here today. So excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be on here.
Oh, we cannot wait for everybody that get a chance to see this recording and just like really connect with you because you have such a powerful story. So, as per usual, I love to go deep in the beginning, so that everybody can hear more about you, know like your background. So, if you can just share your story with us, what were you up to before real estate and what, got you into this industry?
So I've been an agent for about going on 6 years now. And what got me into the industry is I was working in a nonprofit and I was helping connect families into stable housing. And I would often refer them to agents. And so when COVID happened, that organization was a nonprofit. They obviously lost funding, lost ways to stay in contact with clients. So it kind of just depleted out. And so I was like, well, I was a connector before. So what if I just get my real estate license to kind of just fill in that gap? Because I missed it so much. So during COVID, I decided to get my real estate license. And from there, it's just been a beautiful journey to just embrace.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, like, I love there already just shows your heart because, you're helping family in, you know, in a very hard situation, right? I mean, like to end in founding housing for them and but connecting with people. And I think that's all about in this industry. We are our connector, we finding homes for people, sometimes their first home, sometimes, their second home, but it's still like an amazing process. So now that you are almost 6 years in the business, let's chat a little bit, just kind of around the beginning of it. Like, how was that first year for you? Was it everything you thought it was going to be? Like, I'm just kind of curious what that experience that you had.
So when I first got into the business, I felt like most agents lost. You're just like, where do I go? You just like get your license. You're just so excited. And then you're just like, I'm out here by myself. What do I do next? And so I had this vision of what I wanted to be, but it was like, how was I going to get there? And so it honestly took me a few years to kind of just pour into who I was going to be, just finding the right mentors. And so but it was always a beautiful journey, especially when I look back, like the clients that I helped, and each one, it just all made sense at that time. And it was just like really just believing timing was everything, your clients, yourself. And so I've been really grateful for where I've been at in the process and just being able to just totally step into what was already meant for me. So many times when I first started, they're like, oh, you can't do that. And I can't do this. You got to wait. You got to wait for this. And so when I was finally able to just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to do what I feel in my gut is going to be me as an agent and just do me, I found the most success.
Wow. And like as you say, like, sometimes it does take few years, right, to just figured out this industry. I mean, I think for most of us, we don't start thinking it's going to be a short term, right? You're thinking from the long term. So you are building yourself into a whole new industry and how you want to serve and help others. Um, you sound very grounded, but I'm just, kind of curious, like, did you had to work a lot on your mindset, just kind of coming to this business and learning a whole new, world of like this industry and figuring out what do you want it to be or who you want it to be. So I'm just kind of curious, like, what was some of the things, if you did had any struggles, just like with your mindset and getting yourself settled and what do you want it to do or what helped you to get like, focused and centered.
Yes. So I feel like once I got my license, I also was pregnant with my youngest son. And so I kind of just I went through the motions emotionally just after having a baby and stepping into business. And so that like I want to say when he was about 5 to 6 months, I like totally like stepped into um I guess I want to say the grounding and the mental mindset around it. For me, I was like, oh, I need to get in church. Like, I need to get spiritually grounded to lead into my business because I felt so all over the place. And, just going through the emotions after having a child, not even understanding the emotions I was going through. And so that's when I was like, okay, I want to build legacy, but how am I going to get there? And so I guess I just broke down the process. Like, what do I need to do first? Like, I can get in the habit of wanting to do 100 things at once, wanting to fix everything at once, wanting to be a mom, business owner, and sports, this. And so I was like, okay, we need to slow everything down. First, you need to protect your mind. You needed to
Hmm.
protect you. And that was actually a journey for at least a year and a half, until I even recognized, like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing right now. I'm going through these mental struggles within myself. It was really silent. And, I still showed up into business, but I just was like, why, how am I showing up? What am I doing? And I just kept showing up. I just kept like moving forward when my body was rejecting that. And I didn't
Hmm.
know at that time was the mental groundedness in that moment, that movement actually during that time. And so when I look back, I see like, okay, yes. And honestly, too, is just kind of stepping into what I wanted. I think in the business, it's kind of like shiny object syndrome. So you just kind of go where it sounds good, what looks right. Oh, this person did this, that person did this. Oh, they're doing this at this brokerage, they're doing this. I'm going here and going here. I never dived deep into what this was going to do for me at this time. Did it support my family? Did it support the structure? Did I have to be in office? I just, oh, I love what you're saying. I'm going to go. And so I think, like I said, with the timing, it took for me to just kind of just go off my checklist. Like, okay, first things first, protect you, and you protect your business, your family, and you create the legacy. So that's kind of how I believe. No, that is not how I believe. That's what stepped me into creating a foundation of being grounded and still continuing to work through that. And so it's been an exciting process. It's still the journey that I'm just continuing to embrace and just pour into and share that and pouring into others as well. So
Wow, that's super beautiful because like I've been through, I think I was slightly grounded when I, came into this business, but it is so true, right? Because I talk this a lot in here in, on these calls and with the, trainings and whatnot that I'm putting, just like there's so many things you can do in real estate. And I truly believe that everything works. It's just like you're putting your mind into it, you're creating processes for that, whatever that activity it is. But then when you come in and you see so many agents doing different things and it's working for them, right? So then you think you have to do it all. And I think, now coming in almost my fourth year, it is just like I am going like less is more. Not less work necessarily, but just like less activities, but just really focusing on what, I
kind of gravitate towards a little bit more that actually brings me joy to do it. And I know that not everything in real estate is going to always be fun, but you can make it, right? It's all what you make it out of it. Um, so now kind of jumping in a little bit, like before we get where you're at today, I'm just curious, what was for you as you're going through this journey, and helping people either buy or sell? What were some of the lead generation that you used that worked for your business?
So mine came from my sphere. It just kind of just naturally happened that way, and just kind of being able to pour into the people around you. And I was one of those agents that says, nobody I know is going to buy a home. I don't know anybody searching. And it would just be like, hey, my coworkers want to buy a home. I mentioned your name. And it was just like, again, like, oh, now I see how this works. This is how top of the mind is. And so that's kind of that is how I started in the business. That kind of got me moving. I feel like I was very blessed as a new agent. I remember hearing people pour into me like, it's okay, you're an agent, you don't get a deal your first year. It happens. And I was blessed. I think I had like 10 transactions my first year starting off. So I was I hit like $1 million in volume. So I was very blessed my first year. It was COVID time. It was crazy. So it was an interesting, exciting time to just kind of, get my feet wet in real estate. And so I just honestly just poured into my community.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I love it. And the sphere is just like it's within reach, right? But I know that there's so much fear. So like, but they know I'm new. They know that I just got started. But you might not be everybody's agent, but the people that wants to work with you because of who you are as a person, they will come and bring business to you. Now that's so beautiful. And now, just kind of chatting a little bit more, like, fast forward a little bit to where you're at now. I know you're a leader. I know you're building. You're a builder. Like, every time I have an opportunity that I hear you talk, there's so much confidence and also a desire. You're talking about legacy. That was something you already had in mind in the beginning of your journey. And I can see that when you talk, you are wanting to make an impact on agents that are also coming, partnering up with you, coming alongside. And so if you want to share a little bit, especially for those that are listening, all Miranda's contact information, following her on social, and then even if you want to actually get into a call with her and just, share about your journey, share, where maybe some struggles, because she definitely will be there to give you some ideas, book a call on her calendar. So all that information on the descriptions below. But, can you share a little bit now? I know you kind of slowly have been transitioning a little bit into like, yes, I know you still have, your community and you're super involved and supportive, but now I know you have been also focusing on helping agents because you have seen the struggle. And so if you don't mind just sharing a little bit, like, what are some of the things that you have been, impacting and helping? We're starting a new year, 2026 is here. I know from status, 2025 was a hard year for the industry. And I'm very blessed to say it was not a hard year for me, but I know it's not necessarily the story, for everybody. Like, what are some of the things that you're helping your agents to get in either in the right mindset or activities or whatever may be so that they're set for a successful year?
So, I feel like going back to the basics, I feel like when I first got in, I was that lost person. I didn't know who I was in real estate. And it was a lot of like influence and leaders or, brokers or whoever it was telling me. I knew from off the like jump, I wanted to be a coach. I was so in love and just with all the coaching and just soaking up the information. I would go to all the coaching events and I would just attend everything. And I was like, I want to pour into people like this. And for so long, they would say, well, you have to do this X in production to do this first. You got to be in the business for X amount of years to do this first. So do that, and then you can be a coach. Do this, but then you can be a mentor. I always had a passion for helping others finding their success and their purpose. And that was always, that's my purpose. And so when I got my real estate license, I didn't want to, be an agent long term. I was like, I just want to be an agent. I lost my way of connecting people. I'll just connect them and I will still be able to connect people through the long purpose of being impactful. So when I started to realize I can still be impactful as an agent by helping other agents who want to build their legacy, it's still an agent. And I saw that there was a big gap in that because other people were speaking on people and wouldn't let them be the person they wanted to be. They're like, okay, you need to do this, you need to wear this, stand up like this, you need to be here from 9 to 5. And it's like being an agent isn't cookie cutter. It's like you have to just be who you want to be in order to succeed. And when I started to see like people in the industry just going for what they believe in, showing up to the open houses, how they earn their sneakers and their hat, and they were still getting business, I was like, oh my God, this does work. And so for me, that's what made me encourage. Like, if you can just pour into somebody that small piece and telling them, hey, continue to be you. You're the mom, continue to show up for other moms who need a home and how, in whatever situation that is. If you like fishing, show up to the fishing community. Continue just to pour into your community through real estate. And that's to help build legacy. And so that was always my main goal. It's like, how do we get people to build their legacy however it see fits? And that's why I stepped into the role. I was like, I'm just going to be a leader. That's what I want to do. I know I can place the nuggets inside of you to help you succeed by just telling you, or not just by telling you, but just showing you the resources, showing you the support, and just kind of being there. Like, because that's what I felt like I would have done good at, like what I needed my first couple years in the business. And so that's what's been like my drive and my passion, and just being surrounded by also a great organization that supports that.
No, and that's so amazing because I can see that. And and I think I know not everybody can feel that way, right? Because leadership can feel intimidating, right? Now you need to lead others, or as you say, like you need to have this whole accolade of, success or, plaques and whatnot so that you can speak to it. But there's so much about, especially in real estate, I feel like, building a business, there is a foundation that it's the same almost for any other business. And it's just like, building who you are, what's your vision, who do you want to be, what's your purpose? It's great because I've been talking with some people on a personal level, on a business level about that. It's just like life has to be more than just waking up, going to your work 9 to 5, come home, make dinner, watch TV, and then do it again, right? You have to have a purpose. What's your purpose in your workplace? What's your purpose with your family? What's your purpose with your community? Because I feel like that's what it makes us feel alive, and that's amazing that you felt that from the beginning. That's what you want to do, and you walking on that right now. And I know you growing an organization here with us at EXP. I'm just super proud of you, super excited to be partnering up with you. So what agents that maybe might be drawn to what you have to share, what you have to teach, and to, coach them, what could they expect by working with you? Just to kind of give a little taste. Obviously the whole goal is just, getting them to have book that one-on-one call with you, but just to kind of share a little bit more of like, what it looks like, partnering up with Maranda.
So I do what I like to say is like, it's not just me. And that's the beauty of being a part of this organization at the Wolfpack, because it's something so unique. It's like I get the joy to help people find where they want to plug in real estate. Once I talk to them about their goals, what's their passion, what's been on the other side of fear. You want to do social media? We have resources to support you in building confidence, all the social media platforms you can tap into. So that's the beauty of being a part of this organization is even though I'm still involved in a team. And I don't like to really use the word team because it's an organization of collaborative experiences and resources. And that's why I tell people, this is how you create success. When you bring other people a part of your journey, you share your goals and resources, everybody now a part of this is rooting for you. It's not a competition. It's like we're building and we all build together. And so just structuring that to know that when you succeed, I'm succeeding, they're succeeding, everybody's succeeding by off of the resources that we can give you by just simply just showing you what you already are ready to unlock as an agent. And so that's been, the proposition of working a part of this organization. And I'll be really honest, I'm not, I mean, I don't want to be biased when I say this. I've been at a couple different brokerages, and this still is the most unique atmosphere to support agent growth and to support you mentally and spiritually and production. So that's, when I talk to people, I'm just sharing that with them, just sharing the real of that this business is simple, but it's hard, but it's rewarding if you just wait what's on the other side of that. And so I guess I'm just blessed enough to be that the I is a part of all of this. Like we all get this when we're working in this structure, and it's just again, it goes beyond just even like helping agents tap into like social media or just tapping into production. It's just so many resources that I can pour into somebody and different avenues to plug them in on what their goals is in life.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for sharing that because it is so true, right? I mean, you can decide to run alone in this business, which can be a very lonely business. You can be even part of a group or a team and still feel very isolated and, and alone and doing your own thing, where people don't have that mindset of collaboration. They're just kind of like, hey, I'm doing really well. I'm a rock star. I'm going to just keep things here, to myself in a corner. And you might come to an office and you never can even talk to that person because one, they're busy. They have to be busy, right? Because they need to keep up that all of that work. So they don't have the time to set aside to teach or to talk to others. But I think it's something that I feel like it's very unique about our organization and our cultures that like we want to make an impact, right? We know that this business truly can transform your life. But how can we do that together, right? You don't have to be in isolation no longer because there is a community and we're building that, together. And this might not be for everybody, and that's okay, right? But definitely for those that are hungry, that, wants to take their business to the next level, that wants to maybe someday be kind of like Miranda and pour back, right? I feel like we all learn different skills, and that's my maybe my little belief, that as we grow and you learn, it's a continuum of like, you look up to other people that, so that you can continue to grow, but then you also look back to who can you help that baby wants to be where you're at. And it's just this beautiful, full circle of like, getting help and being a helper to others. But as we're closing up, and I'm just so happy that I got an opportunity to speak with you. I'm just share, is there any final thoughts of anything you want to share? Like, just really living this call with an encouragement for 2026 for agents that are maybe already starting their year a little stumble and not really with a clear vision of what they want to do.
Um, I want to say that do it scared. Do what is in your what do what's in your spirit, what your body is calling you to do. If there's like if you're thinking about switching, if you're thinking about unlocking a different level of business, attracting a different type of client, do it. Just show up how you feel that you need to show up and be surrounded by a support system. And that will ultimately continue to help you grow as a person. And on the other side, you'll notice that the fear is going to get quieter every time that you show up and you do it scared. And so I want to encourage agents to step outside of do it. I mean, I want to encourage agents to do it in their fearful moments in life. I have agent identity quiz. If you're not sure what kind of agent, what kind of clients to attract, take the agent identity quiz. It's under a minute. It will give you tips and resources on which client to attract based off of the person you already are. So let's just keep showing up. If you want to speak to me and pour in a call, I would love the opportunity to talk with you and just kind of give you some resources and guide you into the next steps.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that resource. So we will make sure that also on the descriptions, we have the link for her quiz. So under a minute, we all have that time, but it can be something that you can clarify, maybe a little pat for you that you're feeling stuck. Miranda, thank you so much for coming in today, not only to pour your heart, to share your purpose and your vision and your legacy. I hope that agents that have the opportunity to hear you today, that, that they see that this is like a much bigger vision, of what you're putting together, that they will connect with you, book that call, take that quiz, and just follow up. Like, she's showing up every day, guys. And, definitely make sure you're giving her a follow, because that's the whole reason, why we're here and doing these calls. Like, I get so much energy for either interviewing or putting content out, because I know it's going to impact, even if it's one person, and that's all it takes, because we're here for the long run. So Miranda, again, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the leadership and all the things that you're doing to our organization. And I cannot wait to have you here in a year so that we can just, talk about all the things that happened this year and celebrate together.
Yes.
Well, bye everybody. Make sure you guys are subscribing and watching the future videos. But for now, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.